All right, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for night 2 of our Becoming a Spartan presentations. We are very happy to have everyone here joining us, getting informed. We hope you've been participating at the Admitted Spartan Days, but if this is your first time at a Becoming a Spartan presentation, welcome. We are very happy for you folks to be here. Before we jump into it all, before we get started, we have one more welcome message from our university. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. How exciting. I really like that video. I really enjoyed it. It always reminds me that it's a good day to be a Spartan. But yes, congratulations everyone. Congratulations on your provisional admission to San Jose State University. We are very happy for you folks to be here. We have a couple things lined up for you today. First, we definitely want to hear a little bit about you, but definitely also tell you about the next steps for you to become a Spartan. So my name is Eric Macias Chavez. I am the transition coordinator for the Spartan Eastside Promise program. I am an SJSU alum. I did receive my degree, my bachelor's in sociology with a concentration on race and ethnicity. So very happy to continue with the Spartan family and serving future Spartans. So very nice to meet you all. And once again, very excited to have all of you here with us. So as for the agenda for today, we're going to be covering a few things, the topics, definitely covering the next steps for you to become a Spartan. We will transition over to a student panel so you can hear about student life, hear from our SESP team, inform you about what Spartan life is all about. And lastly, we will finish with our Eastside Union High School District Spartan Summer Program, an opportunity for you to continue to get informed, get involved, and jumpstart that process of a Spartan. All righty, folks. So the big question of the day is, are you ready to be a Spartan? Awesome. So just to cover some quick material, we do have a small poll led by our program lead. Thank you, everyone.
All righty, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Amanda Aldama, and I'm the Spartan Eastside Promise program lead. I'm also an SJSU alum, graduated with my bachelor's in sociology as well, the minor in political science, finishing up my master's, and I'm an Eastside Union High School District alum as well, graduated from Silver Creek way back in the day. Been here for over 10 years now, so really excited that we could be here tonight to be able to talk to you about this next step, hear from our students as well. But before we get into that, we have a quick activity, as Eric said. So a poll is going to be launching on your screen right now with several questions for you to be able to answer. So go ahead and fill out that poll. We're going to take a couple minutes simply by filling out the poll. Some of you will be randomly selected to win an SESP, Spartan Eastside Promise prize pack. So take a couple seconds to fill that out. We're going to do this for about 1 minute here. All these questions are related to these next steps processes that you must be aware of as you are getting ready to become a Spartan. All right, those answers are coming in through here. That is great. Hopefully everyone is doing well this evening. Awesome, about halfway there. We're going to take another 15 seconds. Get those final answers in. If you want an opportunity to win a prize pack, a few of you will be randomly selected simply by participating this evening. All righty, in 3, in 2, and 1. Here we go. The poll is now closed. So what is our first question here? Our first question, when is the intent to enroll deadline? That is May 1st. May 1st is the deadline to submit your intent to enroll if you are planning to be a Spartan this fall of 2021. Question 2, what is the website to complete the next steps process? Now, the website you can go to is direct, nextsteps.sjsu.edu, or you can go to one.sjsu.edu to click on your My SJSU message and access it directly. Next question here. Participating in Sparta Camp orientation is mandatory to retain your admission for fall 2021. True or false? That is true. You absolutely have to attend your orientation. We're going to talk about that in the next couple slides here. And last question here, true or false, Sparta Camp orientation will be an online experience. This is also true. It is a completely online experience that we're going to cover in the next couple slides. So if you are ready to take those next steps to be a Spartan, let's go ahead and dive into it. So next steps. First off, the next steps here is going to refer to this online process you must complete by May 1st in order to save your spot at San Jose State. It is a 3-step process that we're going to go in full detail. At this time, you've been offered what's called provisional admission, meaning that we've looked at your grades that you've submitted so far, the classes that you're enrolled in, everything looks good, that you're completing those A through G requirements with a grade of C- or better before you graduate or by the time you graduate high school. That you meet all deadlines, as we are a very deadline-driven campus. There is no exceptions or extensions for a missed deadline. This provisional admission was also granted on the condition that you attend your mandatory Sparta Camp orientation that happens over the summer. If you miss a deadline, if you don't attend orientation or you miss a fee, you risk your application being withdrawn and you will not come to San Jose State this fall. We are incredibly strict with our deadlines. There's mandatory requirements for a reason to make sure that you are ready and prepared for this next step. So if you have any questions at all, please do reach out so we could be able to assist. Now, one of the big questions that students have is, what will fall look like? Are we going to be in person? Is it going to be virtual? Will it be a hybrid? Well, we are doing our best to abide by the state and the county guidelines, and our Spartan safety is our #1 concern. So our sjsu.edu/health advisories website is going to be your go-to for how San Jose State has been combating the COVID-19 pandemic, resources for students, family, and the community, as well as what that next steps will look like. So definitely bookmark this page, check it regularly. Any changes, any updates on our repopulation plan will be posted here. We are preparing for multiple scenarios with that goal of being in person as safe as possible. Your safety is our #1 concern. Now, with the next steps process, it is 3 steps going from step 1, do you plan to enroll? 2, your orientation, and 3, a $100 fee in order for you to be able to save your spot. Again, this is a non-refundable fee for you, so do keep this in mind. And if you have any questions at all, you're going to need to check, or rather you're going to email our next steps at sjsu.edu. They're going to be your go-to for this process. Now, One SJSU is going to be that website that has everything that you need, starting off with your My SJSU. This is how you access the next steps as well, by typing it in, going through your messages, or simply clicking or going to the website nextsteps.sjsu.edu. Now, if you have never seen your My SJSU account before, it's not going to look like this. You're going to see instead a message that says for selective service, or are you interested in registering to vote, or interested in CalFresh? None of these have anything to do with admission. They are simply informational purposes. So you want to click go to Student Center. That way you can be able to access your messages and any to-do list items. The first step of this page is for you to be able to, for you to be able to see all 3 steps, as well as download a copy of your admission letter and a copy of your financial aid award estimate. Now, if we go into step 1, this is the intent to enroll. Read all of that thoroughly. Click that you acknowledge which major you have been admitted to. If you are not planning to enroll, you do have that option to click no. Let us know that you are withdrawing. Keep in mind, if you do withdraw, you are forfeiting your space for fall 2021. So you would need to reapply if you do plan on coming to us at the later term. But if you are not, and you are saying yes, we move on to step 2 for Sparta Camp orientation. that mandatory 2-day session. It is a 2-day, not 48 hours, about 3-4 hours each day that you must attend to meet with your academic advisor, to be able to get connected with the different resources on campus, as well as enroll in your classes. I'm going to leave the slide up for just a moment so you can read through that because it is incredibly important. Hopefully everyone had a chance to read through that thoroughly. That orientation, once again, is mandatory. If you arrive late, if you leave early, if you're like, I'm not going to go, you will lose your admission. You will be withdrawn. Now we have students that say, well, what if the internet's not working? Well, the Wi-Fi went out or Zoom isn't working. Well, it is your responsibility to contact our new student and family programs immediately if there are any issues. That way they can be able to assist you further. Our goal is to be able to help you transition, help you with this process, but we won't know you need help if you don't communicate that with us. So if there are any issues, please contact our new student and family programs office immediately so they can be able to assist. There are several steps here you must do before you attend orientation as listed here, but they will also be emailed to you in your MySJSU accounts as a reminder when that is available. So again, if you're not already in that habit of checking your MySJSU, make sure you are checking it at least once a week or every other week. You can change your orientation session, but you can only do so until May 1st. And do keep in mind that there are limited spaces per session. So if you are planning to change your session, something comes up, you need to, again, communicate as early as possible. May 1st is the deadline to be able to change your orientation. Last step here is step 3 for your enrollment deposit. This is a $100 fee due by May 1st in order to complete the intent to enroll process. So if you have any questions, any issues, any hardships, again, please email nextsteps@sjsu.edu. Email myself as well. I'm going to have my email up at the end as well. So we can be able to see what type of support can be provided. But again, this is a mandatory fee in order for you to complete the intent to enroll process. On this page, once you're done, all 3 steps will be green and check marked. You can, again, download a copy of your admission letter, see your financial aid award estimate as shown here as an example, where you can see that expected family contribution. The tuition is really that cost that you would owe us, right? Unless you're living on campus, then of course there's those fees of housing, but that main cost is at $7,800 for tuition, and that's charged half in the fall and half in the spring. Whatever you are receiving in your grants, that goes to San Jose State to go towards your tuition first. If there's anything left, that goes to you in the form of a check to use for your books, for a laptop, SJC sweater, really anything that you need for your education, okay? If it's less than that, then you do want to go ahead and look at that section that says loans or work study, see what other options you have, as well as contact or work with our bursar's office to see what payment plans would be possible for you as well. So a lot of resources, a lot of support to be able to help you figure out what this process is going to look like. We definitely don't want finances to be a barrier here. We want to help you create that plan to be able to finance and invest in your future. Now, this is a very, very brief overview of next steps. I want to make sure we have time for our students to really share their experience, their wisdom, their advice, their resources. But everything that I talked about in even further detail is available in the Steps to Enrollment brochure. You can get out your phones if you don't have them already, open up your camera app and hover over that QR code so you can access our Steps to Enrollment brochure here. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Eric.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amanda, for that reminder on our next steps. So yes, as mentioned, make sure to check out that Steps to Enrollment form, the info packet, or feel free to connect with us, right? The Spartan community, or more specifically, the SESP team, right? And to learn more about us, to learn more about the SESP team experience and the student Spartan experience, we have our program, our program team here, right? So it's time to hear from our Spartans. So we have a few questions lined up, but if you folks have particular questions, a little more of what you want to learn about as of what it means to be a Spartan, please drop those questions in the chat feature, right? But without further ado, let's get started. All right, so definitely want to introduce our teams. So go ahead, team. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Makai. I'm a fourth year business major, business marketing, and the cohorts I'm a part of are the undeclared students as well as College of Business.
Hello, my name is Nazin Rahim, and I'm the SESP intern. I'm typically the one that's replying to your DMs on Instagram, and I'm posting to the story. My major is business marketing, and I'm currently a third year.
Hi everyone, my name is Vincent and my pronouns are they, or you can just call me Vin. I am a peer mentor with the Spartan Eastside Promise program, majoring in business management and minoring in child adolescent development. I was also an Eastside alum myself. I graduated from Evergreen Valley High School's class of 2019. So go Cougars if any of y'all are out there.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, folks. We're really excited to hear from you all. All right, so our first question, as for our first question, why did you choose to attend SJSU?
So for me, I knew that San Jose State University was the one that I wanted to go to. I graduated from Andrew Hill in 2018, and I was accepted at other universities in SoCal, but ultimately I chose San Jose State mostly for the opportunities I had for my major, which is marketing, and for the financial aid. I joined clubs that were relevant to my major, such as Marketing Association and the Women in Business Club, which have offered me a lot of great networking opportunities. I also joined the honors program, which is a really great, unique program that you have here at San Jose State for business majors. So the marketing honors program gives you real experience. You can be a consultant for a startup company in San Jose in the Bay Area and get that real life marketing experience without having to go through the whole process of applying for internships. But it presents as that kind of opportunity. So that's why I chose to go to San Jose State.
Thanks, Naz, for sharing. Just to give y'all insight of my personal journey, I definitely wanted to choose SJSU mainly for the student involvement. That is really what drew me. I think I know that we are trying to get a degree at the end of the graduation, but I think having that opportunity for you to be to join something bigger than yourself is really important. So that's why I wanted to attend SJ State.
Awesome, awesome. A lot of great opportunities and all in our backyard, right? Downtown San Jose. Thank you too for sharing. As for our question number two, so what do you remember from your experience of first transitioning to SJSU?
For sure, like the first day I stepped onto campus, I noticed that there were so many people. I think I'm not quite sure the number, but at least like thousands, like 10,000 students would trample through campus at the very beginning of the semester. So there's tons of people at this very same place as you are when you're in class. And my school, my graduating class was like 200, 300 from Andrew Hill. So it was nowhere near the number that San Jose State has. And just being in that kind of experience with other students was very like a new experience. I was very overwhelmed, honestly, but it was great to meet people from new places. A lot of students are from other states, other countries, other areas. So you get to meet new diverse people and make new friends. Another thing was the schedule. So coming from a school that the schedule is basically the same, Monday, Wednesday, and then Tuesday, Thursday, your schedule would be the same, or you have classes that end just at 3 p.m. and then it would start at 8 a.m. And then going to college, I realized that my schedule was what I wanted it to be. So I was able to pick up classes. I wanted to start at 12. So then I made my classes start from noon. I would make it go till 4 p.m. instead of having to deal with that rigid schedule you had in high school from 8 to 3 p.m. It was a lot more freeing because if you're working, you can work in the mornings and have classes at night or vice versa. It's more of a you thing. You can pick what classes you want to take at what times. So college is a more freeing experience for sure. You have a lot more freedom. Even if I'm assuming a lot of you probably will be commuting, it's still a really great experience because I'm a commuter student myself. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Naz. And to add on, definitely my experiences, I was super anxious about going to college in general, and just SJSU's size was pretty intimidating. I was like, oh my God, 36,000 students. How am I going to fit into this campus? and like, is SJSU the right place for me? And I felt like I was just kind of like questioning a lot. And my experiences in the beginning of like, you know, being able to connect at admitted events and being able to talk to Amanda and Eric and other SESP folks really helped me realize that San Jose State like is a great place for me, because through the summer program, which I highly recommend y'all to attend. It's a really great opportunity to be able to connect with one another, develop relationships with other people across campus, and also to get to know different resources to help you like make the first, you know, step on campus like a lot less intimidating. So you have that support along the way. And I had that support in 2019 with the summer program, and just learning how to sign up for classes and everything about campus made me feel really prepared going into like the first day on campus, because it wasn't like a new place anymore to me. And one of my suggestions, like just hearing Naz's story on like, you know, like being able to like plan out your schedule. One thing that I did my first year that I really regret is that I placed all of my classes on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I had classes from the morning up until the afternoon all day, and I would just show up on campus 2 days a week. And I would highly not recommend that, because not only do you tire yourself out, but also you don't have that time to be able to spend on campus. And that's where like the life and the magic happens, like when you get involved on campus. So I would highly recommend you kind of like spacing out your classes. That was one of my biggest mistakes during my first semester, and just also like giving yourself some like time for breaks, and also being able to participate in different things and being open-minded to like different mentorship opportunities, because there's a lot of them even with our SESP program as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Nazrin. Thank you, Vincent. So certainly lots of students, but however, that just means that there's a lot of a lot of things to choose from, right? Whatever your interests may be, there certainly is room for you, that your interests can definitely be met, and you will meet others who are also trying to connect with students like you. And definitely, right? Lots of new experiences. So that's why it's important to hear from current students and to connect with folks like the SESP program team to learn more about how you can best prepare to become a Spartan. All right, so question 3. Can you think of any programs, event resources, mentors, departments, etc., that have helped you during your college experience? And what suggestions might you have for new students?
I can answer that one. Just to highlight a resource, something that I didn't know that SJSU offered was the Wellness Center. So I got to speak with one of the faculty a couple years back, because it would be like an interview style for getting to know the resource. But it was a great way for them to actually how their center, like what it stands for. So it means that they value all different types of health, so not just physical health, but like mental health and spiritual health. So it was really reassuring to know that I could go to a center to talk about nutritional value, as well as anything for mentally too. They offer, which is CAPS, the counseling and psychological services. So that's something that really made me feel comfortable of approaching a resource, as well as finding out more of what they offered.
Thank you for sharing, Makai. And to add on, there are just so many different programs across campus in general, and a lot of different resources that you just kind of like learn about new ones like every day. Even I'm still learning more about different programs. And some programs that I've discovered throughout my time so far is that we have a really awesome career center, and they offer all sorts of different like advising for like, you know, like all your internship needs, how to professionally build up your resume, how to be able to like get those leadership opportunities, and just career counseling. And that has been really helpful as I was trying to figure out, you know, like trying to figure out if my major was right for me. And I recently changed my major as well. And just there's this awesome program as well called Coffee with a Professor. So like to make it less intimidating, the Division of Student Affairs, they sponsor a Coffee with a Professor kind of program where you can actually get a card and go invite a professor to get coffee and chat outside of class. And that's a really great way to build relationships and, you know, make it less like awkward, but also like explore your different interests. So like if you had a professor in one of your classes that you really, really would like to get to know them more, that's an awesome program as well. And we also have a lot of different resource centers in general for different student populations, such as the Pride Center for LGBTQ plus students. I'm a mentor over there as well in their Peers in Pride program. And also Mosaics, the cross-cultural center, which I really had the opportunity to be able to learn about, you know, like diversity, equity, and inclusion. They host this awesome leadership retreat that you should definitely apply to if you had the chance in the future. And just to be able to like network with other people, develop your leadership skills, and make a difference on campus. So there are endless opportunities that you can explore.
Awesome. Definitely a lot of room for you folks, a lot of resources for you to connect with and just be a Spartan. Thank you, Makai. Thank you, Vincent. Alrighty. Question number 4. How has your involvement on campus affected your experience at SJSU?
Answer that. So I joined my freshman year to a program called New Student and Family Programs. This is actually the orientation program to get students on board to SJSU, just giving them the rundown of all the resources as well as any questions that they have throughout the session. But it was very rewarding just to work for my school as well, build that pride for my school. And orientation leaders don't have to be people who are extroverted, who are like energized all the time. It's definitely not a cookie cutter job, but it definitely really helped me curate my own leadership style. And I was able to be somebody who could direct as well as be a good listener at the same time. So I really enjoyed that experience. I definitely encourage you all to look into it.
Yeah, and there's just so many different ways to get involved on campus, whether you're like looking for opportunities for like your different hobbies or professional development or social development. There are so many different avenues to be able to get involved. When I started getting involved my second semester of college, like that's where the landscape of things changed for me. SESP was a really good like head start like of a program for me to be able to like connect with other peers who were in like my year, kind of going through the same stuff, trying to figure out what college was like. So I felt like really connected to that community, which is why I'm working here now as a peer mentor as well. And it just, there is so many things about getting involved that makes you feel really connected and, you know, like you genuinely care about the community. It really shapes your experience into, you know, being able to make the most out of it. Especially during my first year, I didn't have that much confidence. So when I sought out mentors across campus, being involved in the different programs helped me build relationships with some of the staff members who kind of helped me explore more about my passions and my interests. So I was actually able to apply for a research grant with one of my professors during my freshman year, and I actually got it. And it was kind of like a shocking moment for me because I was like, oh, freshmen don't usually get the standard of, you know, being able to like do research or get involved in different things. But I highly encourage you all to like step outside of your comfort zone. If you need a little like, encouragement, feel free to reach out to us, like any one of our team members, and we'll support you along the way because it can make a big difference.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Definitely lots of opportunities and definitely many ways to shape your experience here at SJSU. Thank you. All right. Question number 5. How have you been navigating the pandemic and remote learning? What are some highs and some lows of this experience?
So for me, remote learning has definitely been tough. I know for sure for all of you, having your senior year remote has most likely been very tough as well, missing out on those experiences. But for sure, you can look forward to, you know, your first year of college. It's going to be great. Don't worry. Um, the only thing is, I'm sure a lot of us have experienced it, is Zoom burnout, where you're kind of on Zoom all day long for hours at a time, and you're just staring at a screen in your room. Just, it's been tough for sure. And I've been able to kind of combat that just by making sure I get outside just for a little bit during the day, taking a deep breath, 30 minutes, just like standing outside or maybe doing my work outside as well. I know not all of us have the privilege of being able to do that, but just trying to unwind a little bit is really key to combating that Zoom burnout. And for me, though, one of the highs of remote learning has been that I've been able to actually have a little bit of more time on my hands. So even though you're kind of at your computer all day, I've been able to actually participate more in clubs, in other experiences like that I wouldn't have done if it was in person. Mainly because as a commuter student, you spend a lot of time driving, especially in San Jose traffic. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It is tough at times, but taking that commute time out of the equation this year has given me more time to focus on my own interests and career. I've been able to participate more in clubs. Become a club officer for a club. I'm also going to apply for another position next year. So just taking advantage of those opportunities that you may have not thought about before. I have a lot of friends who are also commuters from similar schools in the East Side, like us, that typically just go to school, do their 2, 3 classes, and then drive back home and do their homework, and that's it. They don't really take anything out of that San Jose State experience. So just making sure that you're getting what you paid for, because we're all paying for a San Jose State. We're paying for that college experience. So you really want to be able to get those opportunities, because there's so many free resources. There's free tutoring, clubs you can join. The clubs can give you opportunities, free things, free networking. There's just a lot of opportunities you can take advantage of if you're really out there. You have to look for those opportunities, because now that you're an adult, you're 18, 17, 18, 19, getting started on that adult experience, there's no one here to babysit you. You really have to take advantage of the opportunities yourself and go look for the things that are relevant to you, because this is your experience and you have to do what you can to make the best of it.
Thank you for sharing, Naz. And just to add on, with the experience of like pandemic learning, it's not easy, because like we acknowledge that everyone has a lot of things that you're going through with all the different, things going on in our world anyways. And one of the benefits of that is that I found that professors are a lot more nicer about, like being understanding about different things during this time, and just being able to, like, if students communicate, your needs like to a professor genuinely, like they'll care about your well-being and they'll understand and, help support you throughout whatever you're experiencing. So that's what I've found really helpful during this time. And also, like, it's just really tiring to be on Zoom all day, like Naz said. So definitely try to be able to like schedule out your breaks intentionally. Sometimes you might, have back-to-back classes. Make sure you get to eat, stretch, rest, do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. And there is a lot going on in general, but everyone from San Jose State is still here to support you. And we have programs that are still going on virtually to get involved. Staff members are here to support you. If you need academic advising, they're here too. So like, I found that really useful as well. And just also being able to like have one-on-one conversations with people through Zoom, because sometimes it used to seem like people were scrambling everywhere to different places. But now being able to connect like virtually, like there is some convenience there. So I'm excited to see a future where San Jose State blends both, in-person and virtual learning, and give people more flexibility.
Definitely. Thank you both. Definitely new ways to get involved and new ways to take advantage of this learning. So a lot of growing through this experience, but thank you, Vincent, and thank you, Nazrin, for sharing. All right, as for our last question, yeah, if we could hear from the three of you, what advice do you have for new college students?
So what I tell a lot of my younger mentees, people that I know that are just coming out of high school and going into college right now, I really stress this, is that you should really try to find a friend or two in each of the classes that you have. So it really helps when you miss a class or you oversleep. That friend can be that support system for you. They can get that extra assignment from class if you didn't go to class that day, you missed it for work. This is really good because you're able to make sure that you're kind of still present and not missing out on all the opportunities, because as students, we're very busy, working students especially. Remember that everyone is in the same position. So even if classes are online, I would just be sure to maybe message them on Canvas and maybe ask if anyone's willing to create a Discord, because a lot of the classes this semester I have Discords for, because a lot of the students are connecting via Discord to just talk about the professor's assignments, about the exams coming up, collaborating on study guides. So it's really helpful that a lot of students are banding together in this difficult time. I actually joined the Facebook group that's for business majors. So we're able to also collaborate on there. There's a lot of opportunity for students to just get help from each other. And also getting to know your professor is also a really great opportunity. Just shooting them a welcome message, just saying, oh, hi, I'm really excited to be in this class this semester. already makes you stand out because most students don't do that. Attending their office hours just to talk about things or check in, because a lot of professors even say, even in a class of like 200 students, maybe one student comes that time during office hours. They only typically have a lot of visitors right before a midterm or right before a final. So just making you stand out in the professor's eyes can get that great relationship going, especially if you need that little extra boost at the end of the semester, if you're borderline B plus, A minus, or if you just want to have that cool connection on LinkedIn and just a mentor kind of position from them. So you can get advice from them, because a lot of professors too, if you stand out in their eyes, they can see if they have job opportunities and then forward it to you, say that, oh, you're like a great candidate for this position. Just having that kind of connection, because professors are also here to help us. Like, even though we're here to get our degree, you're also here to get other opportunities and other benefits from it. So getting that networking experience is really important. And yeah, that's my advice for sure.
Thanks, Naz, for sharing. I think my one big piece of advice is to try something new and step out your comfort zone. I think we're all used to kind of our own routine, but I really want to push y'all to test the waters and join a club that you might be somewhat interested in, but just want to have like a foundational basis of um, how to join. Just taking that first step is really important. Another thing is to create your own study routine. Everyone has their own way of learning, and um, this might be if you are self-disciplined and want to like write out all in a list of like all your assignments that you need to knock out, or just utilizing Google Calendar too to organize on there so it's easy for you to see visually. Just stay organized that way, but definitely make sure you are self-disciplined and following through with all your study routines.
A piece of advice that I would have is just don't be afraid to reach out for support. Whatever college you go to, there's always people who are, there to support you. So be sure to reach out, even if it's not the first person who responds to you, like reach out to another person. You deserve support, and people are here to support you throughout your college journey and even beyond as well. And also conduct informational interviews. Sometimes you're going to step into college with your major and you might not necessarily know what you're doing. And maybe you'll find, like that you take a class and you really like that subject and you might even change your major. Or like you're not sure where you want to see yourself in the future. One way of, helping you throughout that process of exploring is to conduct informational interviews with different people, whether it be like an upperclassman who's like in another major that's you're interested in, or maybe like even San Jose State alum. Like there's different platforms that San Jose State has that you can like connect with other alum, or like any university. So like the networking aspect is super important, and keep an open mind and an open heart to learning more about different things from different people. When you're going to college, you're going to meet a lot of different new people who have different life experiences. So when you talk to more people and you meet them, like chances are like you might learn something new. So keep an open mind and heart. And yeah.
Righty. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Makai. And thank you, Nazrin. Definitely great advice. Lots of information to take in, right? But definitely slow and steady will be beneficial to us all. So make sure to continue to connect with us for all of that support. But thank you, team. Thank you for answering those questions.
We got a couple other questions here that are coming up in the chat. For anyone who would like to answer, what is your favorite spot on campus?
I can answer that. I have a couple. So in the library, there's like 8 floors in the library. So there's a ton of spots you could utilize there. There's like little study corners on the 5th floor. The 4th floor is for San Jose State students. So there's a lot of collaborative areas over there that you could take advantage of. And I really like studying sometimes near the auditorium. So there's a lot of grass area you can sit there. And one of the things as a student is like you kind of have to have access to a bathroom, and the auditorium bathroom is pretty secluded. So there's my little life hack for the day.
So anyone else want to answer that question before we move on to the next couple here?
Yeah, my favorite spot on campus would definitely have to be the student union because there's so many different food options there. And then it's just a really social space where there's a lot of different people in a lot of different settings. Like you can sit in like groups or like on like, like you can find a more quiet place in the student union. It's just a very busy spot where there's a lot of like lively energy going on. So that's why it's one of my favorite spots. Another one would be the new rec center that we have on campus. It's fairly new. It's a really awesome center to be able to, like get your fitness in. They have an awesome pool that I hope to be able to use one day in the future, and a rock climbing wall as well. So that's another favorite spot for sure.
Yeah, I love the gym. It's really big and open, and there's actually study areas on the second floor of the gym. So you're able to actually study in there, even though it's a little loud, but some people kind of like that background noise. So if that works for you, you could totally take advantage of studying there. Um, and another favorite spot of mine is actually it's called the Ginger Market. So it's where you can buy sushi and poke for fresh, like really fresh poke and sushi for really cheap actually. So then that's like a really easy lunch you can get because as a student you're running around and you're hungry and you can just go there, pick up a plate, and then you're good for the rest of the day.
Awesome. Our next question here is, how did you know which major to choose?
I can answer that. So for marketing, I kind of wanted to hone down into something creative, and I like to be hands-on. So I was kind of looking into type of things that involve graphic design, but I also noticed that I like to present and be that public speaker. So there's a lot of different areas within your major. You just have to kind of explore too. It's a lot about exploring and seeing where your interests are. So you can definitely connect with our career center, and yeah.
For me, oh sorry, Amanda. For
Good.
me, I knew I wanted to major in marketing because it's always been a passion of mine. I've always been really interested in social media marketing. So, taking advantage of the platforms that we have, like TikTok and Instagram, I've been able to get experience in both areas. And I kind of know that I like doing that, making viral TikToks, making viral posts, and things like that. And I'm also interested in marketing and tech. So, getting into that field, especially in the Silicon Valley, it's a pretty lucrative field. And you get to make a really good portfolio for yourself just by getting experience in those kind of areas, especially since we are here in the Bay Area and there's a lot of tech companies that you can take advantage of by interning at or even just going on LinkedIn and talking to them.
Our next question here is, I really like to make connections with my teachers. Is it possible to do this at SJSU when professors have so many more students than in high school?
Yeah, I think just utilizing office hours. So during that time, professors have these designated times that they're available for students. So really, really do take advantage of that time that they're setting out to give you extra support on the side. So let's just say you needed to clarify concept during the lecture. You could actually visit their office hours and drop in since we are virtual. So you could drop in and just kind of discuss with them what you needed to clarify with. So really encourage y'all to attend your professor's office hours.
And a lot of professors are actually more open to talking to you than you think because this is their job and they're here to support you. They don't want you to do bad in their classes. So they offer that additional support for you. And I mentioned earlier how one of the professors I talked to, he has over like 200 students in his class and barely any students ever visit his office hours except during midterms and finals. And that's kind of a given since a lot of students want to prepare, but maybe making an appointment if the office hours don't fit your own schedule is really key. And right now I actually have a really great relationship with one of my marketing professors. She's really sweet. Like I've actually visited her house before and we text on call sometimes because it's in my honors program. So just getting a really good relationship with your professor is entirely possible if you're really open to it and you can tell the professor's open to it. They can give you that support and that's like an additional connection for you, and they can provide maybe like letter of rec opportunities for you in the future as well if you need them for scholarships or for grad school.
And I can personally attest to this as well. It's been quite some time since I got my degree, and I still have some professors that I could communicate with on different projects and things. So definitely still that room for connection here. I have another question here regarding classes. So how often do students have trouble scheduling because of impaction? I can say just from my experience as well, being when I was a student, there has been so many more improvements from that time where we have the My GPS system, the degree roadmaps, e-advising tools, Spartan Connect. We have actually a video that Vincent and another peer mentor Jasmine made about how to make that appointment with your advisor on Spartan Connect. So you know what classes to take on time when they're recommended to take directly from the department. That way you could stay on track and be with your classes. But if any of our panelists want to address that question, feel free to jump ahead.
I definitely recommend meeting with your advisor. So, for example, this semester our registration dates are supposed to be end of April. You don't want to make an appointment with your advisor that week of. You want to do it early April. So I actually met with my advisor today, and I was able to talk to her about what classes I'm needing to take. And since I'm a junior, I'm graduating in a year, I was able to come up with a plan for graduation, and I'm applying for graduation in July. So just being in contact with an advisor is really important for classes, because if you're just thinking you're on your own, you're going to be struggling when you have to register. You don't know which classes you want to take, but the advisor is a really good way for you to know exactly what classes you need. And for when you actually register for classes, make sure you put all of them in your cart. You utilize all the resources that you have, like my GPS and my roadmap, making sure that you're able to see what classes you need, and then seeing what professors, what time slots, putting those possible options into your cart. So when it actually is your registration date and time, which is how you register in college, you have an assigned date and time. So April 29th, 4 p.m., you're there at 3:55 getting ready. And then at 4 p.m., you're able to click to check out from your cart. So kind of like you're ordering stuff online. It's basically kind of like that online shopping, but for classes.
I think that's a great way to put it, especially to really just have that that visual of what it's like. Give me some flashbacks too of like, okay, I got to put this in my cart and get this ready, get planned, get prepared. One of the things students want to prepare for, especially when we go back to campus, is since the campus is huge, how do folks get around? Is biking and skateboarding allowed?
Yeah, there is options like scooters and biking. I think even taking a stroll on campus is really just to see all the greenery is really kind of that experience itself, I think. So if y'all do have time just to like walk around campus, it's like a square, so it's really easy to navigate. So really take the time to just look at the different buildings, admire the architecture, things like that.
It might be intimidating for if you guys visited campus a couple times before and you don't know where the buildings are, but I feel like you get a hang of it really quick. But I feel like a lot of students do bike, skateboard, and things like that. But for me personally, I just walked, and I used to average like 6 miles a day. And that was my exercise usually if I didn't go to the gym that week. But now I'm not averaging 6 miles a day, maybe like 6 steps. No, I'm just kidding. But it really was a really great opportunity to get that exercise in, because you're walking from one end of campus to the next. Usually, if anything, you don't have classes back to back, but a 15-minute gap in between. And that's more than enough time to get from this end of campus to the other end. So you don't have to worry about it technically, because it's entirely feasible for you to walk from one side of campus to the next.
Awesome. We have another question here about how can we change our major?
So if you want to change your major, I would definitely say at the beginning of your college career, kind of like explore the different major options. If you're not quite sure what you want to major in, check out the Career Center. They have career counselors who can kind of help you like gauge your interests and whatnot. And if you're past that exploration phase already and you know what major you want to go into, talk to the advisors, not only in the current major that you're in, but also in the major that you're interested in. So that way you have that bridge, like communication going on so that you can figure out what requirements you need to be able to get into that major, such as any prerequisites for classes you may have to take or any application processes. And once you get in the prerequisite classes and whatnot, and just check in with the advisor consistently so that you're able to plan out your classes in a way that works, and then submit a petition, and then it should be able to, like, it is a process, but it might get approved. So recommend always talking to an advisor if you're trying to make decisions about classes or scheduling, majors, minors, and whatnot.
Definitely. We also have another amazing video made by Vincent and our team that covers this process on how to change on the very generics, right? Because as they said, you want to talk with your advisor. It's so important. So they give some great advice there. But we also last night, if you attended last night, or if you didn't get a chance, rather you didn't get a chance to attend last night, we did have all of our student success centers here to talk about what that process looked like. So a recording of that will be available so you can see all their contact information if you weren't able to attend that session, and definitely connect later on. We have a question here. Are lectures recorded at SJSU? I will say this is a little bit dependent on the class. I know not all classes are recorded, but we do have an accessible education center where if you do need that type of accommodation, they can work with you and your professor. Let's see, other questions here. It looks like we have all those questions here. We're nearing the end of our time almost as well. So I do want to highlight, we've had several questions regarding room and board. We've had questions regarding housing, transportation, and all these things we can address in some form, but we want to make sure that you hear it directly from the source. Admitted Spartan Days is the great place to be able to check that out. This is our 2-week-long event that you are part of right now during this event. sjsu.edu/admitted Spartan Days has the sessions for housing, financial aid, the bursar's office if you're going to do payment plans. Our Associated Students Transportation Services will be part of our resource fair this Saturday. That way you can be able to directly connect with those departments, hear their information, see what resources are available, prepare for that next step, all at sjsu.edu/admitted Spartan Days. Pre-registration is required, so go ahead and make sure that you do that, and that recordings will be available a few days after those presentations occur if you do miss them. So make sure you check out that website. As I mentioned, this Saturday is our resource fair. So we're going to have a resource fair, virtual campus tours. So for those of you that haven't had a chance to visit campus yet, join us at 9 a.m. for that virtual live tour from our student ambassadors. And then we have a virtual resource fair starting from the remaining time with several sections, whether it is our talent show, showcasing our Spartans from 10 to 11, student support resources from 11 to 12, or from 12 to 1, connecting directly with our student organizations. So make sure that you check that out there this Saturday, April 17th. Lastly, as mentioned by several of our panelists, the Spartan Promise program, or rather the Eastside Union High School District Spartan Summer Program, is coming back for our 5th year here, June 14th to June 25th. It is a 2-week-long 10-2-hour live sessions from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., where you'll be able to work with myself, Eric, all of our peer mentors here on that transition from high school to college, being able to connect with your academic advisor for academic planning, be able to connect with resources, and especially so important right now with distance learning, connect with other students from the district so you can go in with that peer support network with friends, with classmates that you might have some connection with as well. So definitely, if you have not already signed up, if you haven't seen that email yet from your counselor, as all counselors from Eastside are also emailing about this, go ahead and register at the link below. That way you can take a part of this free transition program to help you get ready before orientation. It happens again June 14th through the 25th from 1 to 3 p.m. Lastly, my contact information is here. Should you have any questions or concerns, our Instagram is here, as Nazrin said. She, as well as our peer mentors, often address those DMs there, so definitely connect. We have our podcast that our student ambassadors from SOAR lead, which has a lot of great information, a lot of fun stories to share, and of course, those live virtual tours and our virtual front desk if our team or any of our admissions counselors can be able to address those questions that you have. But once again, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We greatly look forward to you being a Spartan. We can't wait to work with you, hopefully as soon as this summer as well. And as we're put in the chat as well, feel free to follow us on Instagram, right? Message us through there. We have a texting service through Remind. We have our emails as well. lots of ways that we can connect. We want to make sure that we get those questions answered, or if we don't know the answer to those questions, that there's ample time to get you connected to those that would know the answers. So definitely stay connected, ask those questions, and get involved. And we can't wait to see you at San Jose State. Take care, everyone, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you for attending. Remember that you're not alone in this journey. We're here to support you guys.
Bye, y'all.